Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol and I will be your host today. Hello, Henny. Hey, Crystal. I am not doing great today. I woke up realizing my medication hasn't been working the way I need for it to be, able to not be so overwhelmed with life. Just the simplest things even. And it was just this morning when I woke up, it was apparent. I'd been, it sneaks up on me when I'm having one of these, whatever these are. It's just, I'm not really paying attention to over time how I can't make myself do things that are simple things to do. And until I wake up one day and it's crisis on. And so that's where I'm at. Crisis on. Hey,
Hello.
how are you, Stasia?
Bit low energy today, but I'm okay. Just a lot of planning and a lot of figuring out to do. So I think I need to start planning like a day a week where I'm not doing all of the personal things.
Okay. What do you mean
Saturday,
personal
Sunday
things?
is not like all of the stuff I can't exactly talk about, but all of the planning that's going along with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm doing is I'm overloading myself a little bit because I could just keep going. It needs to get done. It needs to get done. I need to figure out the next step. I need to figure out what's the next thing that I can add or, what's pertinent. And it's like, I'm not giving myself the turn off time. So I need to give myself that, like I'm trying to on Saturday and Sunday, but I think I need to like consciously be like, no. And like in my head, be like, not today, Satan. So I need to like give myself that minute because I think I wouldn't even call it overwhelm. I think it's just another survival mode I'm going into.
Okay.
And I'm starting to feel myself crave a drink or smoking a joint. So if I maybe disconnect a little bit from the situations, I might be able to work on those cravings a little bit better.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Like I'm able to do it. Like when Wee Man's here, I've got, those 2 days is like completely him.
Yeah.
But then I'm still not quite turning my brain off because I'm focusing on him.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what I need to do is I need to turn my brain off and just be like, okay, this is not a day to think about anything other than like if I sit down and crochet or, I'm doing the walks every day. And that was the intention behind the walks was to give myself some of that disconnect time.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's enough.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to try and plan for like Sundays. Because like on Wee Man weekends, I will have at least Sunday evenings. That way I can keep it consistent because I need consistent schedule for me to actually stick to it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I'll have like every Sunday evening, and then every other full Sunday to just kind of be like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not socializing. I can introvert for a day, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I think I'm going to start doing because it's too much to think about sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very bad at turning off my brain. I think we can all relate with that. But
oh my God.
Crystal,
I've been trying to get through Crystal's message. Hi, everyone. Probably won't make it into the meeting, but we'll try to at least listen a bit. Can't get into my trailer because of a fire across the street. So
oh no!
I'm so sorry, Crystal.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh. So is there smoke damage in your trailer? Is that why?
I think she had also said that she was in a park. Sorry, I'll let you continue with Henny there.
No, go ahead.
I think that she had said that she was like in one of those park type situations. So maybe I'm trying to think positively here. It might just be across the street instead of near her property. So there might not be any smoke damage, but they'll clear everybody just to be safe.
Okay. And Henny says, hey, Carol, I can relate. I would suggest doing what you can each day, even if it appears small. Give yourself compassion and give yourself a chance to allow doing less. More will surely follow. Thank you, Henny. That's
I might just send you a message on Sundays.
Okay.
I might just send you a message on Sundays and be like, hey, it's off day. It's scheduled. I'm sorry.
Hey, Matrix Rabbit. How are you? Good to see you guys. And hey, Ben. I think I saw Ben up there earlier. Yeah. So, yeah, Bruce, all the people are here with us for love and support.
Ah.
How's it going?
Oh my! But I heard how things were going with plant. I missed part of what you said though, Carol. What does the medication you were talking about? What exactly does it control or supposed to?
Well, I'm on an antidepressant and an antipsychotic for just the cyclical aspect to, you know, where my depression and all that takes me. In my 20s, it was a wild ride. And just over time, I would still feel like the manic bits, you know, but I wouldn't act out as much somehow. And just over time, it's just gotten to where I don't know. I don't know if it just is an overtime kind of thing with me. But as I've gotten older, you know, I still run into the cyclical depression. I don't get the highs anymore that I used to get, which is, you know, in some ways a bummer, in some ways not.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I can see that being a mixed bag. Yeah.
And so I've never been officially diagnosed, you know, with bipolar, with manic depression, but you know, I ran from that for so many years because, you know, I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'd see people in my town where I was living go have an episode and get hauled off to, at that time the mental hospital was called Charter Vista. And they'd come back a few weeks later and pale and just looking just not looking like they're in any kind of good place at all, and just kind of shuffling around, you know. And so I used to kind of take note of that and be like, okay, if push comes to shove and I go weird, which I did, I'll keep what I got. You know, I don't want that. I may not want this, but I don't want that.
Oh.
So, you know, it was a phobia almost, going to any kind of psychiatric help. And but yeah, I'm just in a whatever it is that depression does to me, I'm in it. I can't seem to make myself do anything. You know, I'm fighting against my own damn body.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. is there a doctor or therapist you can go to see about getting it? I mean,
Yeah,
I understand there is and I understand why, and I don't blame you.
yeah.
But I was wondering
It's
if you
not
could.
like it used to be
Yeah,
anymore,
I was
but
just wondering if you.
it's still, you don't know what you're going to get when you start something
Yeah,
new.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the Abilify was working for me until it started not. And that's what I've always run into. Like I've done all kinds of things like naturopathic and all that kind of stuff. And everything helps for a little while. And
Yeah,
then it starts not working for some reason.
yeah.
And it's
I wonder if you become resistant. So I
yeah,
have
maybe
had
so.
a friend who's going through that right now, actually. They became resistant to their anxiety and depression medications. And the doctors pulled them off of both and then tried like bringing one in at a time. But they ended up reverting back to the medications that they were on before the doctor took them off of both and just upped the ones that were showing signs of
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
So if you're on a lower dose, let's say, and you said it was Abilify that was working for you. So if I'm not mistaken, it's 10 milligrams of Abilify. That's the highest dose that's possible. So depending on the milligram that you're on, maybe talk to them about upping 1 milligram or 0.5 to see.
I'm just going to tell her what's going on
That's
and
fair.
and see. I have trusted her to put me on the Wellbutrin and then the Abilify. She put me on Prozac for a little while, and that was the worst. That was awful. And so the next one we tried was the Abilify, and for a while, life was pretty good. You know, I could do some things, and I did do some things. You know, I haven't completely gotten out from under like all the, getting mom's room emptied out and all the stuff that she has, all the stuff that I've had and all the different incarnations of my life, or different situations of my life. And, that several households worth of stuff. And, but now I'm just kind of looking at my yucky, dirty, piled up house going,
Yeah. That and when I do get depressed, I do get like that. You get to where you're not motivated. When you're not motivated, you can't. It's kind
and
of
there's no reason for me not to be motivated.
yeah.
No reason looking around at all. It's just, and I've fought it all my life.
Oh,
I really have.
I'm sorry, Planton. I don't mean anything by this, but are you also on an antidepressant?
No, I was misdiagnosed.
Oh, okay.
So in my situation, I was misdiagnosed. I was on Abilify, but like the highest. So every single time that I went and I said, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel right, they upped it.
Yeah.
But I was going like every 3 months. And so I was on the highest of Abilify and the highest of Prozac for 2 years.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden my liver levels were coming back wonky. And so my nurse practitioner and I had discussed, okay, we're going to take you off of these. We're going to see what's going on, and had a really deep conversation. And that's when we realized I was probably presenting trauma and ADHD and being in a survival mode type situation. So all of that mixed together can present as a psychotic break.
Okay.
But I have experience with being on them, just maybe not for the right reasons.
Okay.
There we go. Okay,
So did you have to taper off since you were on such a high thing?
Yeah, it took a year.
Oh,
It took a year to fully come off of the Prozac because I was on 80 milligrams. And what happened was when we lowered it 20 milligrams at a time, I was getting what I call brain snap. I would lose like half a second. Nobody could really tell it was happening to me, but I would lose a half a second. My whole body would go tingly and numb, and my vision would be gone. It would be completely black. And then it would come back, and I would be like, oh, okay. And like it would happen while I was walking. It would happen at any point in time. And a lot of the time, people just couldn't notice it was happening to me. So like being able to describe it was even difficult because I can't even tell what it looks like on the outside.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
So Prozac was the hardest one to wean off of. Abilify was a lot easier. It was 2 step downs because I was on
Okay.
10 milligrams. We went from 10 to 5 to 0, and that was over 6 months. But
Yeah.
for the Prozac, it took a year to get down off of 80 milligrams.
Wow. Okay. Goodness gracious. Man. Oh,
And now, honestly, being off of them, and this is why I truly believe that it's not that, and that it's ADHD trauma. Now that I'm actually
Okay.
working through trauma, some of the things aren't presenting themselves anymore. And seeing as
Okay.
I'm trying to use tools for ADHD, probably if they told me that they would give me medication, I probably wouldn't take it because it's so close to one of my favorite substances that I just wouldn't take it, and I would be too afraid, kind of like the Ativan. Yeah, I'm too afraid to have it near me, so I keep it upstairs, you know? So I'd be like, nope, I don't want to be on it. I'm just going to keep learning the tools. And since I've started learning ADHD tools, I'm more level.
Okay.
Way more level. I'm not having these emotional irregulation points that I was having before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to read this one from Kristen Melinda. The theory is that psychosis has to do with too much dopamine. So a lot of antipsychotic meds lessen dopamine in your brain. So it's hard to find a good balance that treats the psychosis, but still allows your motivation to work like it should. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that makes, and you know, and it's always been that balance finding thing that scared me about starting on medication. But when menopause hit, I didn't have a choice. I had to do something. There just wasn't, it became a non-option to be paranoid and stay away from it. It just wasn't an option anymore. I just plummeted into just the worst depression ever. I mean, I've had depression bouts in my life where that part of my history is a complete blank. Like there is no memory. People will ask me, "Do you remember so and so and such and such?" And I'll be like, "No, I don't remember that." You know. And one of them was one of those, and it wasn't just drugs and alcohol that was a factor in that, because one of those times was when I was pregnant and I was not drinking or using anything at all.
What is this?
What is what?
Carol, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, honey.
Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, good. Hi everybody. Hi Ben. Hi Plant.
Hi, honey.
Hi. Hey. Carol, I wanted to say, hey, sweetie. I've been depressed all my life. Okay,
Yeah.
and you guys know a little bit about what happened without me having to get into all of that again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was asking my therapist if she thought, well, actually, she asked me if there was a time that I remembered not being depressed. And the answer was no, I really couldn't. I had moments of, I guess, happiness, if you would call it that, but mostly there's that underlining depression that just never goes away. And I've been on a myriad of medications. I started with Prozac like you did, and it did not work at all.
Yeah.
And it's been trial and error ever since.
Yeah.
What I do is I go to therapy. Carol, I've had
Yeah.
to increase it tenfold in the last
Increased
couple of months
therapy.
because, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because where I was going like once every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm going twice a week, and I'm struggling still.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm on the same medication. Well, one of the same medications, the Wellbutrin, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed to work for a while. And also, Plant Freak brings up a great point in that when you're on medication so long, I mean, for me, it's been my whole life, and I'm a grandmother. So it's very possible that I've built up an immunity to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still taking it? Oh, shoot. Life's
Oh,
good. I'm sorry about the other night. You became paralyzed and disassociated. I'm so sorry. That is a horrible place to be.
It
Been
it
there.
really is. It really is. But I have to tell you what I've been doing, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I also have agoraphobia, and I think that you mentioned that as well. That, there are times when you feel like that as well, and you just can't leave your safe place, and I really relate to that. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll get up and I'll make my bed, and I'll force myself to do things that are helping me without necessarily having to do anything else except try to just get by the day with the little steps.
mm,
And
Okay.
I accept that of myself because I know that there are days I've explained.
uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. So
I wonder if there's still some storms going on.
uh,
It's still happening here, and if I'm not mistaken, she's not overly far from me. But from what I'm understanding, the other side of the border is getting hit really hard too.
Okay.
Really, really hard too.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm closer to Vermont, and Vermont is getting it worse than I am actually.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
a rolling stone. I called my go, the one who lost her only child to SIDS 22 years ago. Got her voicemail. Her message is just, if this is an emergency, hang up and dial 911. Good vibes.
Wow.
Oh, oh, Rolling Stone.
Can you guys hear me?
We
Yeah.
can.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, my phone is cutting in and out. This is my computer, is my phone. Hi, Christy, you look beautiful.
Yes, you do.
I hope you're doing okay, sweetheart. Um, just getting back, I just wanted to say that the little things are as important, Carol, as the big things. So where there are days that we can just gung ho do everything that needs to be done and everything is taken care of, that's great. But we
Yeah.
have to also accept the fact that it's not always going to be like that for us because
Yeah.
of our disability.
Yeah.
And we have to give ourselves compassion during the times that we're not functional like that.
Mm,
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that just getting out of the bed, making the bed, taking care of whatever it is, whether it's the pets or an adult parent that needs care, whatever it is, we do what we can do and to the best of our ability, and not blame yourself or feel bad if you're not able to do everything. Do you know what I mean, Carol?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know that, now that you're talking about that, I don't know that I've ever really allowed myself to, other than the fact that I've come to the place of having no choice. It is what it is, but I've never really given myself actual permission. It's more beating myself up for what I cannot. I mean, I'm healthy. I can walk around. Why can't I do this? You know, and
Because
beating
that
myself
has
up about
nothing.
it.
Yeah, because mental illness is not physical illness.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's an illness that we're still learning about,
Yeah.
that we're still trying to understand, and it's as real as if we did have a physical impairment.
It is. It's as some of the injuries where I've had an incapacitated limb.
Yes,
Some of my internal things have been just as debilitating as that. I could relate to the
absolutely.
debilitatingness of it in that way.
And that's why you need to give yourself a little credit, a little grace, a little compassion on those days.
Oh,
She has such good things she's saying.
I
I
yeah.
love
feel
what
like
she's
this was a
saying.
Tommy thing too, where he was dropping out at the cliffhangers. I feel like Henny's pulling this
There we go.
now.
Ah,
Oh,
Oh, oh, she got nuked. Hold on
Oh,
here.
wait. Okay.
There we go.
we really need to give ourselves extra compassion on the days that it's hardest
Okay.
mentally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I could say to please try to get a therapist,
Yeah.
because speaking to someone else gets you out of your stuck brain.
Right. That's one
We,
thing that
we
I've
really,
never been able to find though is a good therapist.
Mm.
And now I'm in a situation where financially I don't have it for that, you know.
what about insurance, Carol? No
I
insurance will cover it?
I have insurance and I haven't checked into whether or not it would cover or how much it would cover of that.
Mm. Sure.
I, I would, I would look into that. And also, um, my therapist is not a trauma therapist. I have not found a trauma therapist yet. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have good suggestions and help. It just means she's not really, she can't get as deep as I need, but her help is very, very sufficient for right now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and I would really look into it, because Carol, we only
Yeah.
have our own head that we think inside of. And it's very good to get
Yeah.
someone else's perception, because we're very stuck in our own ideas.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
you. I love you all.
Love you too, Henny.
Love you
love
Thank
you,
too,
you.
Henny.
honey.
Love you, honey.
I
I
Um,
love
love
you
the
too.
I
accent.
don't, Carol,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is how Arkansas does it, but I know in Colorado, my friend, they have a specific mental health insurance that isn't tied to Medicaid. I always get those two confused. And it's different ways that you qualify for the mental health insurance than what you qualify for the Medicaid. So there's been times where she didn't qualify for Medicaid, but she's always qualified for this mental health insurance. And it's
Hmm.
allowed her to see her therapist. And I believe she doesn't have a copay on her medications. So maybe ask if Arkansas has something like that. I don't know if you would qualify or not, but perhaps. And I know that my oldest daughter uses BetterUp, and my friend, her therapist is like on a Zoom call. So she's got a therapist that's actually not even in Colorado. And my oldest daughter's therapist isn't in Colorado either. So that maybe those are things. I don't know. Maybe you've already looked into them. I just know those are two things that work for them.
I've been on BetterHelp. I was on another one that was similar to that.
Mhm.
The last time I was with a therapist. Um, you know, I was very unlucky in love for a lot of years. So
Yeah.
it seems that my therapy journey has been very similar.
Oh no.
No, Carol, you're
to my
very lucky
unlucky.
now. You've gotten lucky in love now, sweetheart. So maybe it's
That's
time.
what I'm saying.
So maybe you'll get lucky with a therapist. And
Maybe so.
if you are seeing a psychiatrist and getting your medications from a psychiatrist like I am, then they may have some
Yeah.
ideas on where you can get therapy as well.
Right on.
Because it's really imperative. I mean, we love
Yeah.
each other here. We're a support group. We buttress each other emotionally, with that psychological buttressing, but really having someone who can, who's qualified.
Oh man, right in
I
the
don't know.
middle of it.
Always in the best
I
parts.
don't know, Carol, if you've seen Kristen's comments, but if you search therapist, look for sliding scale as your keywords on it, and then this means that the therapist charges less depending on your income.
Mm.
And then it also usually lists what insurances they will take.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're right, a Rolling Stone. I am too hard on myself in so many ways. Take an hour in the evening to find things to laugh about. Yeah.
Mhm.
And right now I'm in a place where I can laugh. That's good.
Yeah.
I
And thank
think one of the hardest
Justin,
things
Krista, Melinda.
I think one of the hardest things is when our mind, it just does so many things to us. We beat
Yeah.
ourselves up so bad. We get stuck in our own head. We've got anxiety. We overthink. It just does all of these things. And we know, like for me, I know what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't do it. And
Yeah.
it's really hard because then it's like you fight yourself. It's like you're battling yourself. And
Yeah.
that's a hard, it's a very difficult place to be.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's not for lack of trying with therapy. In the last, since 2018, I've been to eight different therapists. Two of them I was going into their office to see them, and they ghosted me. I guess they just dropped me and decided not to tell me. I don't know how a therapist thinks that's okay, but they did seem, I guess, because they did it, with no coming back later or no explanation later or any of that. And boy, that'll mess with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Do
That's
you
the one
feel-
field where you ought to have something in place to let people know if there's something going on with you.
Mhm.
Do I
Do
what?
you feel, Carol, that some of, I wouldn't say resistance, but the hesitation, maybe that's the better word, in trying to find a new therapist is because of that situation? It's almost like, well, this happened before. Who says it's not going to happen again? And I really need help, and I don't have time for somebody to do this to me again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those were the two that I was really connecting with too.
Okay.
And they were helping me, and then until they weren't. And so, I have a little bit of trauma around therapy too.
Yeah.
I can't help what happened to me with therapists. Some of them were just spinning. And I would say to every one of them, look, I don't have time to spin my wheels, and I don't have the money to waste on spinning my wheels in therapy. If you can help me, great. if you don't think you can, please be honest and upfront about that. And they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a whole bunch of, oh, uh-huh. I hate that more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting your trust in somebody with your most vulnerable things in your life.
Yeah.
Want a little bit more than uninterested.
Right.
Well,
You know, I mean, they were acting like they were interested, but were they interested?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I just I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could justify wasting people's time and money that way.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry guys, my internet is down. I'm using chat only, but I would definitely recommend looking into other therapists. Whew. Yeah. That's a whole bag, man. That's a can of worms that I don't know how I'll open it, but you know, I might even ask my doctor
Yeah. No.
to maybe point me in a direction there.
Or maybe if your medical doctor can at least do something in the interim.
What can do something in the interim?
I was wondering if your medical doctor couldn't adjust something and see how you respond, kind of thing, in the interim until you get a therapist. But yeah, I get it. I mean, that is the same thing that happened to me, and the medication they put me on didn't do me any good. It was just horrible stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of mine was situational. I get that. I do still tend to ride lower.
Okay.
I was at the point I could control mine through diet, but the problem is with my liver and stuff going on right now. It's not my body's not responding the way it's supposed to. So yeah, I get it. I'm starting to think I might need to go there if I can't jumpstart my liver again. I get it.
Right on.
But yeah, I understand the lack of motivation. You don't feel like it. It's just like nothing. I just want to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I have healed more in the last 5 years because of YouTube. It's a one-stop shop for mental health support, community, and education. Right on. It's not the same as talking to somebody, but yeah, there's some wonderful professionals on this platform. Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to have this platform to be in every day, Carol. It is. It is. I'm so grateful for this community. We need ourselves up because that's what we're accustomed to. We deserve better. We beat ourselves up because that's what we're accustomed to. We deserve better from ourselves. You're right. You're so right. I hope to have enough firewood. I hope you do too. I hope you do too, a Rolling Stone. Yeah, Krista Melinda, that wasn't great. It wasn't great. It'll shake your confidence. You know, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie What About Bob? Where the guy tried to go on vacation and his patient wouldn't basically showed up in his vacation spot and drove him into insanity, drove the therapist into insanity. Even if I was a What About Bob situation, how does somebody have the right to do that?
You don't. In my opinion, anyways, I can't say that I'm a
don't consider
professional in
myself
anyone.
a What About Bob. I'm not going to go on your vacation with you. Anyway, I talked over you. I'm sorry, Stasia.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. I don't think that they have the right to, and I'm not a professional in any way, but as an individual who needs talk therapy personally to be able to process everything I've been through, and I started going to talk therapy when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So no, if I was dropped, I probably would have. That's why I had asked the question earlier. It's just, I can only imagine how I would feel.
Yeah.
And that would make it so difficult for me to reach out again.
Yeah.
And I really hope that bringing it up to your doctor, and I'm sure, because everything that you've mentioned about your doctor before, they sound fairly understanding and supportive, that they'll be able to reassure you a little bit, and maybe getting a reference from them will be reassuring rather than, you know, you looking for something and it's, well, am I making the right decision? You know, so
Right.
maybe getting the reference from the doctor might be reassuring in itself. Who
Maybe
knows?
so. Maybe so. You have the wrong therapist there, but there are good therapists out there looking to help. Yeah.
Mhm.
Life's good. You do deserve so much better.
Yeah.
Hello, Jen, between the cracks. I'm sorry that. Oh, okay, Jen Marie. Okay, so you're okay. Are you okay, Jen? You know what, Crystal? I have actually done that with every therapist that I've had in the last 6 years. And just because you explain it doesn't necessarily mean I won't get it. Oh, man.
Mm.
It sounds like you want someone who asks good questions. Yeah, I do, that make you think about things differently. And you had a lot of people who are just supportive listeners. Yeah, I would challenge me a little bit to evaluate why I think what I think and believe what I believe and what you know why it makes me feel what I feel.
Mm.
I need challenge in that way.
Um, can we clone Handy and just do something with her? Would that help?
Yeah, for real. For real. Your insurance will pay for a psychiatrist and the right medication. That would be a good start. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Oh,
togged her in.
John.
Someone togged her in and I toggled.
I'm like, great. I was just in there. I swear. I was just in.
Too many togglers.
Jen and Carol are fighting over the toggle button.
Ben, stop trying to kick me out of the room.
Talk to us. How are you?
I'm not great. I'm not great. I'm not good. But I did hear that you got ghosted by a therapist, and
Yeah.
I actually
Two.
had that happen to me. Geez, I went through 4 therapists in 3 years through this one place.
Yeah.
And it's definitely their issue, right? But it makes us feel like less than, or like, well, what did
Yeah.
what did I do? You know?
Yeah.
And the last one I saw even said to me, like, well, you need a lot more help than I can give you. And I was just like, well, then you're in the wrong profession. So
Well, and I personally would have appreciated the honesty if I'd had therapists tell me that.
absolutely.
Okay, great. I'll move on. No harm, no
But
foul.
I am with Stasia. I have through the years, and granted, this is in Michigan, so that's north is definitely different than south in this country. But sliding scale places are really good. Also not the worst idea if you're comfortable with it, of speaking to somebody that, say, works in a teaching hospital and they have residents behind a glass wall that are watching you. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. There's all kinds of great ways to get therapy when you need it.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would find a therapist I trusted. I haven't trusted a therapist since I was 14 years old until I found my therapist that I'm working with now.
Right
You know,
on.
and I'm having such a bad week that I actually couldn't even go to the chiropractor or therapy yesterday. Couldn't do either one of those things. I couldn't do anything but sleep.
I'm so sorry, Jen. What's happening?
Um, well, you know, now it's in the last month, it's 5 people that I love that have passed away.
Yeah.
Um, struggling to find more work that I can properly, excuse me, that I can properly maintain and keep up like a job.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
struggling
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Um, and
You
I
okay,
don't
Ben?
know. Then,
Ben, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
am I boring you to sleep?
No.
You need a nap?
Boston,
Boston?
Mister.
Oh,
Oh, my chat isn't rolling. What is the CSIS? I'm so upset. But Mr. Boston, I'm sorry. What's going on? Waste billions overseas and a country falls to, yeah. Anyway, you were saying,
oh,
Jen, you're struggling to
sorry.
find work.
Yes. So
Hmm.
I'm doing the door dashing. I'm doing the cleaning and working at the American Legion Post with my dad. Um, and I am working on my spine and everything with the chiropractor. But I definitely feel like I'm gonna have to go to the ortho because I'll get adjusted, and the next day my body falls right back out of it. So I don't want to just,
oh,
give them a bunch of money for nothing.
and for nothing. Yeah.
Is
Yep.
this to do with what happened to you a while ago, like these issues with the
The physical
mugging?
stuff?
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
This was, I didn't know that this could happen, but apparently your ribs can pop out of place.
Oh my. Just
And so
randomly?
That's
yeah,
wild.
so it actually could have been because of when I was mugged, and I just didn't know it because I was in pain after that. But I'm used to being in pain, and I don't really consider it a whole lot. But then when I wasn't able
Hmm.
to move stuff around, it started to get really weird. But I just wanted to come on here today and just kind of push myself to be at least parasocial, some sort of, what? Oh, thank you. I needed to see that. And I read something else and I didn't understand. Hi, Crystal.
Hi,
Hey,
Crystal.
Hi. You need to talk?
No, you can finish.
Oh, okay. I might have purposely accidentally forgotten what I was talking about.
You just said
I'm
you were coming on here to force yourself to be social. We're so glad to have
yep,
you the full
yep.
face
And
on here, though.
I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to pull myself together for Steve's memorial on Saturday.
Have
yeah.
you already seen somebody about the rib already, or?
Just the chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
No, now I have to go to the ortho because
That sounds like a surgery
oh,
thing. Ouch.
do we have a doctor in here? Mrs. Boston, are you a doctor of homeopathic medicine? Thanks, Kristen.
Jen, I have a quick question. Did everything get squared away for Steve's, like that, the GoFundMe? Did that need get met? Do you know?
No, it didn't. Um, it did. It got honestly let me check with her again. The last that Vicky had told me there were only 3 um, um
3.
I was also wanted to ask her if anybody's interested. I mentioned this already the other day, I think, didn't I, that I was going to ask her about live streaming the memorial, if it was okay with her. Only if it's okay with her.
Yeah.
So how much more is needed for her to hit where she needs to be at? Do we know?
Mhm.
Not yet. I just text her.
Okay.
Okay.
I just, oh, 3 people total.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's see.
Interesting.
And I had asked Tommy if he could mention it, but I didn't follow up with him on that. That was my mistake. It was right around the time that I asked if we could do that
That would
hour
be
long.
good.
But
Yeah.
I didn't follow up with him, and I just haven't felt like, I just feel like now that I'm getting to know so many of you, it's a pretty good idea of when people. Okay, Vicky's actually okay with me streaming. Okay.
Wonderful.
Good. Wow.
Get a copy of it. Okay. So,
What time is the funeral on Saturday?
it is 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to go ahead and do it on my Between the Cracks page.
Okay.
And she's cute. She just asked if she could have a copy of it. And I'm like, of course you can. What do you mean? Of course you can. And I got this little ring light that should help a lot. That goes on top of my laptop, but I can bring it for my tripod with my phone, and that should be good. The only thing.
And I'm so sorry. Did I miss what time it should be at?
1 p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So she said she's good because her aunt sent her the money and it got covered. The balance of everything, and his friend bought the urn. That's very sweet. That must have been Steve Hardman that must have done that, I imagine. That's amazing.
So everything is covered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to need, let's see, I need addresses for Carol, Stasia, and who was the third person? Oh, Gordo.
Oh, I can get it for you for that one.
Yeah, you guys just send it to me personally because I'll get in trouble with Miss Vicky if I don't have addresses for her for thank yous.
Yeah.
And she is tiny, but she's mighty, and we love her. And I don't feel like getting in trouble with her. I've been trying to do it so far. I'm not trying to do it now.
Right.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Really, only this little group of people. I meant to yesterday with Sharon, but I turned her live on and I fell asleep. I turned your live on earlier yesterday and fell asleep. I just could not stay awake. So I'm glad to see you too, Rolling
Probably
Stone.
needed
Really
to
sorry to
sleep.
hear the weather's bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You probably needed the rest.
I mean, I think so too. Because Tuesday I worked from 7:30 to 5:30 and went to a funeral so I was cooking up until like 10:45, ran to the funeral with my dad, did the funeral, came back, started getting everything ready and put out for the wake, and by then we had helpers. So that was really good. And there was so many people, so many more people than we expected. So we had to make a bunch more stuff. But well, yes, resting is how the body heals itself. But the body can't just keep healing itself for 3 months at a time while I, go broke. Everything in my life is just, oh, Steve-O's here. Hey, buddy. I'm not sure if
Hey,
you heard.
Steve.
But I'm going to be on Between the Cracks Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be streaming Steve Molesky's memorial service at the behest of Mrs. Molesky because I do what she says.
Yeah.
I think that it, you know what, I really think a lot of it has to do is facing that and
Okay.
dealing with that funeral. I think is the worst one for me. That and the news that I got yesterday, even though John was 82 years old, somebody that I really cared for and was a huge mentor to me for over 30 years. His name is John Sinclair. I don't know how many of you in the States anyway have heard of John Sinclair.
I feel like I have.
He's the godfather of ganja. He was arrested in 1969 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and got 10 years for 2 joints. And they held a big concert in Ann Arbor in 71 or 72. The concert for John
Where are you going?
John Sinclair. And with John and Yoko showed up, and it was really great. He was also the manager for the MC5. That was a band out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. He was the leader of the White Panther Party. His former wife is also a good friend of mine. Lenny Sinclair is an amazing photographer and my photography mentor. So I'm just, you know what, 5 people that were people that I held in really high esteem. Like it's not just, you know, my favorite doctor, our big brother Steve, you know.
Yeah.
One of my dad's really good friends and my favorite person at the post besides my dad, my aunt and John, like, and Steve and my aunt passed the same night. There
Oh,
was a
wow.
White Panther Party, Kristen, look it up. It's a fascinating story. And they were in alliance with the Black Panther Party. They weren't like anti-black. They were with the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
He was a wild man. And he ended up being a poet and a philosophizer, and he lived between Detroit and Amsterdam for the last 25 years.
Wow.
He was a good man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, honey, for putting that up. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry that you've lost so many people close to you. That's so difficult.
Yeah, it is.
It's the most people I've ever lost in this short time. The closest I ever came to this was 3 people in 6 weeks, and I thought that was terrible. But 5 people in 4, I'm amazed that I am sitting upright. I'm just doing so because it's Thursday and I have to pick Brielle up from dance later. So keeping the most important of my responsibilities, which is taking care of that kid.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just and being present for the community that is welcomed me, and you know, that's, I consider you all my friends. I can look at myself and
Wow, Mr. Boston.
be a little concerned about that.
I'm so sorry you lost your brother.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Boston.
Yeah.
It's a terrible feeling.
Keeps me strong. The kids he wanted, I have. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, you're gonna make it through this. We don't get a choice, do we? We got to make it through whatever we're going through, regardless.
I don't like any of the choices. I don't like any of the other options, so I'm sticking with
Yeah.
the continue going. The
Yeah.
other option is just
Yeah.
okay, see, the disco party has started in here. If I can bend. Crystal, have you been to one of my disco parties before?
No.
Here, I'll
No.
just share the little.
No.
There you see, I have a disco ball that hangs in my skylight, and my cats go crazy for it. But I am okay. Crystal, why don't you go ahead and share what's going on with you? I know that you were
Well, I'm finally home. Hi.
Okay. Do you have any smoke damage?
No smoke damage. No nothing.
Good.
The trailer that actually caught on fire was a newer trailer.
Oh,
And to drive past it, if you look carefully, you can see damage kind of in the middle of it. But
okay.
if you just look at, like, if you're not looking at the top of it, kind of, you can't really tell that it was damaged.
Okay.
I didn't really go around the block to see if my coworker's trailer was damaged in any way, because she's right next door to the one that caught on fire. But to find out that it was a newer trailer that caught on fire and went up as fast as it did, that's scary. Because you know that with the older trailers that it's literally, I think they say 7 minutes between the time it starts and the time that there's nothing left.
Done. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I live in, is an older one. So yeah, it's been an interesting afternoon.
I should say.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a song. Am I right, Rolling Stone?
Well, I'm glad that your
So,
trailer was safe
I don't
and
know.
you're safe.
I'm glad
and
you're safe. I'm glad your trailer's safe.
Seriously.
I'm glad my babies are safe.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, those babies.
They are kind of freaked out. When I got home, they were kind of all over the place, and Leo still hasn't calmed down.
How long were you out of the house, Crystal?
Well, I left the trailer this morning at like 10 to 5 to go to work. And I was sitting at the computer at work at about 1 o'clock when one of the ladies from the court came back from her lunch break. And she went and she told Linda, who's across the street from me, that the trailer next door was on fire. And Linda just booted her butt out of there and told me. And I'm like, okay, should I be going too? So I contacted our park manager and she said, no, it's probably best for you to just stay away for right now. I don't think there's going to be any problems with your trailer because the wind was blowing the other way, thankfully.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
thankfully, too, it is very wet and gray and gross here today. So the dampness would probably have helped the firefighters. When I left work, I clocked out at 1:30, and then I actually stayed hanging around the store till about 10 after 2, and went to come home, and I could turn down the first street, but the actual street that my trailer's on was completely blocked with emergency vehicles to beyond my place. Like, I'm only 3 trailers in. And yeah, I'm like, okay, there's cars all over the lawns. I did meet one of the pump trucks going back to the fire hall on my way home. So
Yeah.
I kind of figured they were wrapping it up, but they didn't have it quite wrapped up when I came past. So I went for something to eat.
Okay.
And
Good deal.
when the manager got a hold of me again and she said, can you get in yet? And I said, well, I couldn't when I came past, so I'm just having something to eat. And she says, if you still can't get in when you come back, just park in like the next street over and just walk into your place. So at least I could have got to my trailer that way.
Yeah.
And there was no outside damage either, like
Okay.
no damage on the outside on the siding or anything, no melting or anything like that.
Not that I could really see, but they do have a 6-foot fence around their property. So it was kind of hard to tell.
Okay.
I could see the damage in
That helped.
like in the middle part where the chimney is for the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could also tell that they had a flag in the front window that I could see, and it was pretty black. You could tell there was a little bit of green in it yet, but it was pretty black.
Wow.
As you can tell, he's still
Little jumpy. Yeah, it'll take them probably. Oh, somebody wants to knit. Well, not really.
Well,
knit.
he's usually pretty good at staying out of there, but he is kind of freaking out right now. So
Sure. I mean, that noise must have been really difficult for him
Yeah.
too. I mean, look, he's
Yeah.
sitting straight up right now.
Yeah.
He's still a
Um,
little jumpy.
I'm not sure where Patches is. I have a feeling she's hiding somewhere. Oh, I just heard her meow. She's
I heard
down
my
the hall
name.
somewhere. Yeah, she's down the hall.
Mhm.
You wanna come say hi? Michael's gonna
Tell
come
Michael we
say.
said hi,
He's
Christy.
gonna come say hi to you guys as soon as Mikey quits giving him all the love.
Yay!
Get off your dad,
I think
man. We need to give him all the
Jen
love.
Jen Marie could give some positive love. Get down and act like somebody.
Yeah, send the dog over here.
Get down and act like somebody.
You didn't mean Michael, did you? You meant the dog. 'Cause I can't help you, Michael. I would just ask you if you could just like go to the store and get me stuff and then leave. That's all I would ask you. I think that's very sweet, Michael, but good. It's good to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to see everybody. Let me see. Yeah.
So you know Carol,
I do.
and there's Jen Marie. This is Crystal. She's the speakers, and then you know Stasia.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
It's all down there.
Over there.
There's
Yeah.
Stasia.
Right.
So everybody's happy, healthy for the most part.
For the most part,
Sure.
sure. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kind of a rough day.
Good. I've been shut down for the past 3 days for rain. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been
Hey.
raining like all day for 3 days straight, and then it started up again on us today, and apparently
Oh.
it's going to do it again tomorrow. So
Oh no.
Be
I
grateful
didn't
it's
know
not
Maryland
ice,
was like
man.
this. We haven't had a full work week since I've been here. It's crazy.
Really?
It's like rain
That is
every week
crazy.
I've been here.
Wow.
Because we live in the upside down and everything kind of looks like the old world, but it's not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm
I like that
well,
reference.
Thank you.
I'm going to give her seat back.
Welcome home,
You guys
Michael.
have a good. You guys
to
have
see
a
ya.
good
See ya,
evening,
man.
and if I
You too.
still I talk to you again.
Back at you.
All right.
All right.
What's the question on Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, there's a Matthew McConaughey
What
question.
happened to Matthew McConaughey?
I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
Michael
right.
would say that
She's
line
Matthew
really, really
McConaughey.
good. All right, all right, all right.
I'm not going to ask the inappropriate question I was going to ask. Not that inappropriate, actually. It's not that inappropriate. Would he be willing to say it in the Dallas costume?
What's that?
Would he be willing to say all right in the Dallas from Magic Mike costume?
Ah!
Actually, I'm retired. I don't do that anymore.
Oh. Yeah.
True story.
It's a little that's a little bit too much of my friend's bot. I want to see it was kind of joking, and now I'm all red. Shut me right up.
Looking at the original Magic Mike.
on a good day, I could keep
That
up with
came
Michael, but tonight I cannot.
Yes, it did.
Not today.
Yeah, now we know.
That was
Now we know.
no. I love that. Yes, Mr. Boston. Christy is in fact married to Matthew McConaughey.
Well, Matthew McConaughey has a very beautiful wife, so I will take that
Oh my
compliment on
gosh.
behalf. She's very beautiful.
Matthew McConaughey's wife could be related to our Stasia too.
I've not seen. Okay, now I need to look this up.
Oh yeah, no,
She's a beautiful. I
beautiful.
believe
Yeah.
she's Brazilian. She's stunningly
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, that would be a neighboring country for sure.
And so, yeah, and she's super chill and just, not American.
Boy, Jen's in rare form today.
Okay, yeah, she looks very Brazilian.
Michael
Yes, she
said to
does.
tell you that
So-
I caught him before he was going to go to another country to find a wife.
Oh,
I have 3 friends that sent away to the Philippines for their wife.
oh my
The
word.
Iceland, where the number
Not
of
kidding.
women outnumber men. That was his
Mhm.
plan. And then he met me.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Well, I'm
So
happy
by
that
that
happened.
I am too.
I feel like we had this
Yeah.
conversation because didn't I say I was going to go with you and Michael when you go to Alaska because it's like 7-1
Yeah,
men there?
yeah.
Find yourself
Yeah,
something
who
there.
knew? He,
Tom Brady is divorced from a Brazilian.
and he ended up with an angry little hobbit wife. So, and very different from an Icelandic beauty. He got an angry little hobbit. So I don't know. Something worked out somewhere.
I mean, yeah. What are you gonna do?
Oh my goodness.
At him like the poor man. What do you do?
Yeah,
What do you
that's
What do you do?
wow. You got
Well, how have you
100
been, Chris? We
messages in
haven't seen
chat.
you in a few days.
Me or Crystal?
Christy,
You.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's nice to just kind of step away for a while and sort yourself out and really, look at things. I was looking into like eating disorders and what causes them and like what that looks like and how treatment is and that kind of stuff. And it was really interesting to me to learn that a lot of middle-aged women, which is where I'm at, who battle this type of eating disorder, it really is around depression and anxiety is a huge reason for it. And a lot of the reason is based around fear. And as I was reading things, I was like, oh, this makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. And I think part of the reason I didn't realize I was struggling so much was because it didn't look like it did the last time. It didn't get that extreme. And so it didn't really trigger in my mind that it was a thing because, I wasn't down there, down to 89 pounds. And,
Right.
but the behaviors were the same. And it took some tough love, which I was very thankful for. And, when somebody sorts you out and they're like, you got a problem, trying to make you stop and go, damn, okay, maybe I need to look at this. And I just think that for me, because it didn't look the same as it did the first time around, I didn't acknowledge it, and I didn't. The more that I study it, the more I realize how complex it really is. Like it's one of the more complex mental illnesses out there, and I didn't understand that before. And there's a lot that I've learned, even with like recovery and therapy, because I want to understand what's going on so that not only can I help myself, but I can help other people. Because to just hear a story is one thing, but when you can hear a story and you can bring like the science says you can do this, or like this is proven, that's more helpful to me. And like I said, I do really good with tough love, and I do good when people are like, you have a problem. Um, and when somebody says it to you like that, you're like, okay, and you look at it. I'm thankful that it didn't get, really to the point that it could have gotten. Um, but it's I'm going to use this word. It's not the right word, but I don't know what other word to use. It's reassuring to know that women, when they get to my age, if they struggled with it when they were younger, they kind of struggle with it again around this age.
Sure.
So it makes me feel not so bad about it. I don't know
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like
Well, that
just
makes
just
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting. There's um there's a lot of studies done on it because I think I've mentioned this before, but in case I didn't, it's the number one mental health disease that has the most deaths around it. Like um, people unaliving themselves or people just passing because of what it is. And it's very scary. And because like there's a lot that goes into it. And yeah, it's just, and I'm the type of person who I have to step back and I have to kind of sort myself out so that I know how to go forward because I have to know what I'm dealing with and like what it looks like and what the science says and what research says. And so that's my go-to. Like I go to the medical journals and the research to understand it. Because the last time I fought this, it was a whole bunch of things. It wasn't just this, you know.
Right.
Um, so it looked different when I fought it the last time. So I can't. In some ways, the same things apply,
Don't.
but they don't. Like I'm not having to learn to eat again, you know,
Yeah.
which I'm really
Good.
thankful for. Um,
Yeah.
you know, um, but yeah, so it's been good, and I just want to thank to everybody who reached out to me and gave me support. I appreciate you all so much. That was um, it was just beautiful and amazing and much appreciated. And everybody's grace with me. So um, yeah.
For the
Stick
record,
right
Frank
on.
is hugging you, Christy.
Oh,
She won't get off the computer. She won't get off the
Oh,
computer.
I'll take it. That's amazing. My shitty kitty doesn't give hugs. Like you pick her up and she yowls at you and wants to be put down immediately. I think
Oh,
she
and
is
this
my spirit animal. Not gonna lie, I think there's a reason we get along so well. But lovey kitties, it's beautiful. I'll take all of the fur baby loves.
yeah, this is from my shy little lovey girl. But I really want to apologize for not having been here and knowing that you've been struggling recently, Christy.
You want to
Um,
apologize for what? You kind of cut out.
oh, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I haven't been around to realize that you've been struggling, or I would have absolutely been here for you.
No, I know that, and I know you've been dealing with a lot on your own, and I know you would have, and that means the world to me. And I know I can reach out to you at any time. Like,
And actually, could you? Because I really, uh, I wasn't. I guess I just couldn't really face it before, but since I've got my medical records, I think I might be going through what you're going through right now, and it kind of would
oh,
be great to have somebody to talk to because I did struggle when I was young.
Mhm.
yeah,
Even though I was super naturally skinny, I wouldn't eat because it was the only thing I could control.
control.
yeah,
Nobody
Yeah.
paid attention or listened or anything. We've talked about this before. I believe I've mentioned my struggles when I was younger, but went away for a really long time. And then when I was super busy touring with music and with marketing, I just called it a time suck, and that was my excuse not to eat, right? Or just eat enough that I don't pass out or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But can't do that anymore. And I have
Yeah.
noticed that a lot of this emotional cha-cha that I've been going through has been causing me not to eat. And when I do, it's kind of garbage and just a
You
little, like,
know, and
I literally have a cherry because they didn't have any Dr. Pepper.
you know, it's one thing that I noticed about myself was that I would make excuses to not eat, like at dinner time. That's when I would do laundry, or I would
Mhm.
tell Michael, "Oh, let me run your bath," or "Oh, I better take the dogs out." You know, I would find something. And growing up, um, I never looked at food as good. I just looked at food as
Mhm.
I needed to eat it to survive. And one of the worst things I learned to do, it was the most horrendous thing that I've ever learned. And I learned it, I shared this story on the boat, but I learned it from my aunt, was to eat enough so that people see you eating so that they don't question if you are. And that's how I would lie to myself and to everybody else and be like, no, but I am eating. And then I would like almost just gorge because I shared this with Carol, I was looking at the calories. So I don't normally look at calories when I look at food. I look at the carbs and I look at sodium and stuff like that, because I try not to have a lot of sugar, because I do good when my body doesn't have a lot of like processed sugar. So I try to keep it more natural. Um, but when I start getting to this point, that's when I start looking at the calories. And I'm like, well, I can have 2,000 calories a day. I've only eaten, you know, 600. I can eat this. Or I would like just shove everything into my face all at once and eat 11 or 1,200 calories at one time. Or my other thing is getting up in the middle of the night. And see, that's the other thing. That's like the other way I hide it is you don't see what I'm eating in the middle of the night, although I'll eat a box of donuts, because I haven't eaten anything during the day.
Mhm.
So I can have those donuts, but then you can't eat a box of donuts. Like that's unhealthy for you. And then
Well, I
that
mean,
then has
No.
food,
you
you
can, but is that
Yeah.
really a good idea?
right, right. And I
Yeah.
do. I
And
do.
I was going to say, and I
Make no
do. It's
joke.
embarrassing,
So
but I do it too.
it's and well, and then the other thing that was hard is um the things that we get told, like for me, what was hard was, because I'm taking away the thing that keeps me alive, right? Like when you take away food, you take away that thing that keeps you alive. Um, and that's really embarrassing and shameful to,
Mm.
because then of course, and to see, I think the other thing is to see the panic on people's faces who have seen you at your lowest, at your worst, when you're struggling the most, because they've seen what that looks like. It makes you feel worse because you've made them feel bad,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Even though it's coming from concern, like then there's a level of shame there. And
Yeah.
everybody's answer is, well, just eat, just eat, just eat. Well, there is this thing with anorexia where you get to a point where you cannot eat.
Mhm.
And it's actually very detrimental to try to give large portions of food to people who are trying to reintroduce eating.
Yeah.
And so it's very tricky. But then the other side of that is, okay, you have to gain this weight because you've lost all of it, but you have really awful body image and you're now gaining weight, which is what you were completely terrified of. So
Yeah.
the struggle is such that you have to
Yeah.
do it to live, but you don't want to do it. For me, it was never really about how I looked. Um, because I think I probably, like my dad had a really good metabolism. So I think I probably would have been fine my whole life with just eating whatever I wanted. But what's
Yeah.
hard is that I was okay for so long. And then it's here and it's stress, you know. And it's stuff that I internalize. And it might not seem like I have stress to other people, or it might not seem like it's important, but to me, it is. And as you lose your footing and you're grabbing, like it's another thing too. Your body stores trauma. So it doesn't ever, you don't ever get over that, right? Like that never happens. It's like it goes into a little box. And then when you
Yeah.
get back into that same mindset, you go back to that. Your body is like, oh, we've done this before. So
Yeah.
let's say you get triggered by maybe a friend or a coworker or something who's treating you in a way that maybe they're not even aware of, but they're treating you in a way that was like traumatic to you before. And so then your body resets itself, but it could go back 10, 11, 12, 20 years to where you were at. So it doesn't matter all the progress that you made, you get set back. And so then you have to start from there, because it's like that's now where you're at, and you have to, you have to look at it and how does it go forward. And sometimes that means having some really not fun conversations with people, or telling somebody,
Yeah.
I have to step away because you're bad for not only my mental health but my life, like my actual life. And it causes some very stressful things, but it's interesting how layered and complicated it is. And a lot of
Yeah.
people who struggle with anorexia struggle with a lot of substance use. And the reason is because they actually look so sick that it's very easy for them to become a seeker and go get all sorts of medications to help them. Because really, until you address the addictive behavior that you have, you just trade it. So you might be like, okay, well, I'm past this, but did you trade it for something else? And when someone points it out that it's startling. Like, to me, it was shocking. It really was. It was like, I don't do that. But then when somebody's like, yeah, but you do, and that's the problem, and then you're like, oh, and then you have to sort yourself out.
Yeah.
you know
And I could say also, in using substances, especially pharmaceutical substances, to what's going to be a good word for it? Supplement eating. There are certain medications, muscle relaxers, benzos, pain pills, I guess, to an extent. I really never messed with pain pills too much. They made me too sick to my stomach. But benzos and like a Xanax and a Soma, I could not have cared less about eating, and it didn't matter. And so then that was just, it helped me even more not even consider eating.
Yeah.
And that is 100% everything that Christy just said. I completely relate to. I did want to ask Christy, I've had lifelong gastric digestive problems because of this. Have you also dealt with that? Yeah. I'm just not trying to be nosy, but just,
No,
now that I'm willing to talk about it.
It does so much to your internal organs. Like the number one thing that people die, that they pass away from, if it's not unaliving, is actually heart issues, because it can cause your mitral valve to prolapse. It stresses your heart so much. It does so much damage to your organs. That there's a lot that really gets damaged, and not all of our organs repair themselves. Our kidneys don't, our heart doesn't. Our liver can, but your liver isn't really affected to that point. And you got to think too, it's just like you're watching that person in front of you slowly slip away, because you think about it in the form of, okay, you're stressed, and you're not really talking about it for whatever reason it is. And so then you feel out of control because of the stress. So then you try to manage everything by not eating, because you can control that, because we know that to be true, right? In my previous life, I knew that to be true. But then you get anxiety, and then you get depression, and then you get fear. And then that is a whole other thing. So as you're doing this and you're starving yourself, you're
Yeah.
taking away really important nutrients that your brain needs to even think, to even have a conversation. And so then that causes more depression, which causes more. And so it's very cyclical. It's just like
Mhm.
this vicious thing. And it's kind of like until you realize it's going on and you can hop off of it. I mean, once you hop off of it, you can at least know, and I think the hard thing is it's very studied, but it's also still so complex and layered that it's not really understood. There's no medication you can give somebody. There's not, like, if you have depression, you can take an antidepressant, right? If you have schizophrenia, you can take an antipsychotic. If you've got diabetes, you can take insulin, but there's nothing you give an anorexic. There's nothing you give a bulimic. There's nothing you
Right.
give an overeater. There's no medicine. So really what you have to rely on is, you know, therapy and help and different things and and sometimes people in trying to help really make it a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would say the number one thing if you're dealing with anybody who's got any kind of eating disorder, please don't tell them to eat. They know they need to eat. They probably want to eat as much as you want them to eat, and that's not helpful. Please don't
Okay.
comment on what they look like because
Yep.
like I don't look unhealthy, but I am very unhealthy. But if you're like, oh wow, you look so good and skinny, okay, in my anorexic brain, that's a good thing. So
Right.
I'm not that isn't helpful, so try not to do that, um, being supportive, just encouraging them to share. There's different
Also,
stages.
conversely, don't tell them that they look like they've gained weight because you'll freak them out even more
Yeah,
and they'll eat less.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a tightrope,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna talk about a lot of this tomorrow. But like
Good.
it's it's really hard for me. The hardest thing to hear is eat something, or like if you say, oh, you look good, or oh, you look too skinny, because those things freak me out.
Hmm.
um and it's hard, and I can promise you, I know each and every one of us on the screen, we don't see ourselves the way that the other people on the screen see us, like, I promise you. But in my mind, like, I see myself so much worse than how you see me.
So do
And
I.
again, like, I know I'm not the ugliest person in the room, but I also know I'm not the prettiest. I know I'm not the smartest in the room, but I know I'm not the dumbest. But it's a lot of, like, I mean, there's so much there, and and it stays with you. It doesn't leave. Like, things that people
Yeah.
say to you, for me, have stuck. Like, I can tell you who said what, and I mean, some of the stuff goes back to, like, you
Mhm.
know, fourth grade, you know, but
Wow.
some of the worst stuff that I have been told was actually in my adult life when I was at my most vulnerable. And you don't get that out of your head. Like, it doesn't leave. You cannot, there's no way to take that little worm out of your head. It's like you just put it in a box and put it away. But then it's like when you start going back down that road and you find yourself where you're at, like, man, you're not dealing with ants anymore. You're dealing with those big, nasty worm things and tremors, right? Like, the little tiny ants have gone out the window. Like, what you're dealing with is much bigger. And I don't know that everybody, like, all addictions look like that. I don't know that to be true. I don't know that it is true. I don't know that it's not true. I just know that those things, because it is something where it gets very scary. And
Mm.
when you're restricting your food or you're eating it and then you're expelling it in some way, um like, that's scary. It's scary to know someone you love does that. And yeah.
One of the things you mentioned was really interesting, and it was something that I notice happens to me a lot. Not not that particular issue, but it was one of the things you were talking about where body starts getting a script where it says, okay, you've done this before. I know what this is. And if you're not careful, your body will go right back to that as default. It
Yeah.
will say, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what you've done between them. I'm going to use your default is now replaced with this script. You will follow it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing how
Mm-hmm.
easy that is to get. And I don't know anything about that particular issue, but
Right.
that script writing stuff, I get that. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it it's just
Yeah.
terrible that
You take it to
no
heart.
matter
Yeah.
yeah, and no matter what
I agree with
anybody's
what Tony says too.
and
Yeah.
no matter what anybody says to you, you will not hear what they're saying. You will hear
Yeah.
what that script will take and rewrite and spit it back
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's why it's important that we realize that, you know, we manage these things. We manage mental illness. We manage these. They don't ever go away. We just have to learn how to manage them. And
Yeah.
there's going to be times where we can't manage, but it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
we as a person fail.
Yeah.
It just means that we've maybe outgrown the things that have helped us manage before and we need something deeper. For
Mhm.
me, I really believe that this
Okay.
happened because I am ready to understand more things about myself that I wasn't ready to
Okay.
understand 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
When I
that
was
makes
Okay.
sense.
10, 12 years ago, I
It
just lost
does.
my dad. I'd come out of
Mm.
horrendous marriage. I I mean, I had so much I had to do that the me then would have probably had a nervous breakdown if, God or the universe or whatever would have been like, okay. But now I'm at a place where I can understand things about myself. So the things that I was doing before to help cope, I need to revamp or I need to get back to. I need to reevaluate. Right now until the 25th of April is a great time to reevaluate where you are and your life and what's going on and look at it. And,
Mm.
we don't, so if you look at it as you never get over or get past these things, you are going to have these times when they come back up for you because it's an opportunity for you to learn something more about yourself or it that you couldn't have handled before. So I always look at it that way for me is like, why is this rearing its head now? And
Mhm.
what it is for me is
Yeah.
I'm not trusting myself, but I'm also
Yeah.
not trusting the people around me that they can handle me or handle what I know or handle who I am. Um,
Hmm.
and it's learning, because you think about it, like it's just like in kindergarten, right? You learn your ABCs, and then in first grade you start to learn how to put together a sentence and read basic things, and then you're reading like See Spot Run, and then next thing you know, if you're me, you're reading Catcher in the Rye, and then you're reading the Odyssey, and then you're reading these other things, but you're always growing, you know, and so everybody has different jumping off points, but so I look at this very different now. Um, I look at it as a big opportunity to learn. Like, what is this bringing in for me to learn? Because if I do that, I don't swirl, and
Mm.
it's not like, oh, I did this again and I screwed up and I'm broken. And well, of course we're all broken, right? It's just how broken are we? And
Yeah.
instead of letting myself spin in that negativity, the way I get out of that emotional mind and into my wise mind is, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? What am I missing? What am I not learning? What do I need to go back to? For me, I got away from my spiritual practice a lot. And although that's not the reason that I spun out, it didn't help. it didn't help that I wasn't grounding myself. It didn't help that I wasn't meditating and I wasn't doing the things that I need to do. So for me, the first step back is getting back to that, doing yoga, meditating, listening to higher vibrational stuff. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you, okay?
Okay. Carol, can't hear me?
Carol can't.
I can now. You were freezing and kind of cutting out a little bit, but you're back.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I just said, getting to that higher vibrational stuff again is what I need to do. Not get lost on the, like turning off some of the true crime, turning off some of the news, reading.
Right
So,
on.
it's just a lot of,
hmm.
for me,
Yeah.
that's what it is. But there's something I need to learn here, and I'm going to learn it. You know what? I'm going to learn it. When I figure out what it is, I will come on here and I will share it with y'all. I don't know, but there's a reason that there's a reason that it happened.
Now,
Yeah.
well, I can't help it. I have to say it. A lot of people would think Carol was frozen, but we happen to be in the know that she's actually sitting still like that.
Right, super still.
She's playing one of those what are those things called? That it's a video, but it's pretending to be a picture.
Yeah,
That's
she's got
Oh,
full
yeah.
control.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I do.
Amazing amount of control Carol has.
It is interesting again because that
We
is
all
the same thing though that yeah, what am I supposed to learn out of this? It gives you an active role. It gives you something active to pursue.
Mhm.
If you don't have that, yeah, you kind of go in your head and go to a place you don't want to be.
Yeah, and for me, I love knowledge and I love learning. And I think if I always look at life as everything is a lesson. And if I can, that's why it comes up. It's just figuring out what it's supposed to be. Some of those lessons are really, really, really hard, and some of them are really easy. And you
Mm.
know, um, it it's just it's difficult. And just because that's how I approach it doesn't mean it's the right way at all.
No, but
But
it's a really interesting way to approach
Yeah.
it because, as Ben said, it gives you an active role, right? And then
Yeah.
something that I was discussing earlier was I need to start disconnecting from things at least a day a week. Like, even though we're not doing meetings on Saturdays, Sundays, I'm not fully disconnected.
Yeah.
So I need to disconnect Sundays. That's going to be my day. Because then 1 week I have the evening. Because when I have Wee Man, I'll just have the evening to disconnect. But then all day Sunday the next time.
So we don't have meetings on the weekends anymore.
No, we're just doing Monday through Friday.
Although we did have an impromptu on Saturday, because if
That's correct.
if somebody says,
Yeah.
I need a meeting, we're
Okay.
gonna make that happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
So
I
just
to
make sure it
that I
happens.
know.
Yeah.
Hi, Cosmic.
Hi.
Cosmic.
Hey, Cosmic, welcome. We're watching
it is
Carol
today,
be
is
a
it
ventriloquist.
Cosmic?
You're frozen on our screen.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah,
you're just
totally
like
frozen.
you're just
You're
like this, Carol.
Yeah, you're kind of like
frozen.
like this.
Huh. Okay. I think my computer did out of the side.
Send us
Oh,
pictures.
I
we
think
would let you know if you were like.
it's another illustration of amazing muscle control. A lot of people couldn't do that. You
Right?
can pull it off.
Just shows that you have good friends. We wouldn't let you be like for 10 minutes.
Somebody toggle her
Well,
off.
am I still frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, My computer was in the
hear you.
direct sunlight. Okay, my
Oh,
computer was in the
no.
direct sunlight, so I think it may be overheating a little bit. So I've moved my
Oh, okay.
computer.
Okay.
And let me see if I carry on, y'all.
carry on.
How are you doing?
Can I
Huh?
share
Hey.
something that I wrote a couple of weeks ago with you guys?
Please.
I actually posted it on my timeline on Facebook, but oops, just lost it here. Every now and then, one of the things that I like to post is what I call making it real. And it's just kind of giving people that are on my Facebook a chance to see just a glimpse into what I struggle with for mental health. And this one was on recovery. And I just said, recovery is hard. Some days you go through the day and you don't think of that drug of choice, regardless of what it is, whether it's drugs, alcohol, shopping, eating, or any other substance or thing you turn to when things are getting too hard to handle. And other days, it's all you can think of. You want to give in, but you fight like there's no tomorrow to make it through the next few minutes, and then the next few, and the next few. Eventually reaching the other side of the toughest part. You make it through, and things go back to being easier for a time. Then there are the times you find yourself not really caring or not being as vigilant as you know you need to be, and you slip and fall back into addiction, back into medicating the mental pain for just those few moments so you can feel better. You give in just to have the regret and shame and anger at yourself take over once again. The hardest part of relapse is telling yourself that yes, you messed up, but instead of beating yourself up, remind yourself of how far you've come, and that tomorrow is a new day and you can get through the next one. You need to remind yourself that it's okay to slip up as long as you dust yourself off again and get right back up again and keep going. Keep putting one foot in front of the other until you've gone further than you did the last time. These are the things I'm having to remember and remind myself of today. I can start again tomorrow. I can do better. And that was the first, I wrote that the first day that I relapsed. And then I relapsed again the next weekend and did a whole lot worse. So I'm having to remind myself of that as well, constantly right now.
100%. Yes. And that's the key thing is just don't beat yourself up. Just like you said, you can just make a different choice, the next time. It's all it is. It's just, did you go back and listen to, I don't know if you were here when I said, that meeting where you were talking about having relapsed. About 35 minutes in, for about the next 5 minutes or so, there was some really great advice.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you
I
went
did
back
go
and
back and
listened
listen to it. Yeah.
Right on. Good, some real wisdom.
That was really great, Crystal.
Was coming through.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not easy to share your feelings with others, but it's really great when you can, and you put it very well. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
And I write from my heart when I write them.
Yeah.
But I also want, like a lot of the people that are on my Facebook have known me since I was a little girl. And so for them to actually see some of the struggles and how I'm getting through helps them to see what mental health really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them are of that age that just pray and get over it or take a pill and think happy thoughts and it'll all go away.
Just go for a walk.
Right, go for a walk.
I always love that one. Just go for a walk.
Eat a sandwich. Stop complaining.
Which can
Do
can
this,
help,
do-
but
don't do
sometimes
that.
it's not always the most helpful thing to hear in the moment. That's
Yeah.
true.
No.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
just plain sucks.
It kind of
Yeah.
feels a little bit condescending because you'd be like, well, I know what helps. So, you know, I know that going for a walk might help. I don't need you to. I was actually told to take my best friend for a walk instead of them increasing her medication. They just said, oh, you take her for a walk. I'm like, what? She's not a dog.
Right.
Yes.
I feel like I've been doing that to myself lately. It's just like, go for a walk. And I'm realizing that I'm distracting myself. I'm realizing I'm just,
Well, listen,
Walks can be
you're also
really
probably getting
grounding.
some good endorphins from it.
Yeah, for me, walks are amazingly grounding. As long as they're not stressful. If they're stressful walks, they make it worse. But it's very helpful to get out in nature for me. And I think that's part of it too. Right now I'm kind of in a city and I
Mm.
can't really
Mhm.
get out the way that I'm used to getting out. And to think about it too, I mean, I was in a private community. I was 45 minutes from town. All of my neighbors didn't live there all the time. I mean, it was very quiet, very different. And then I come to Baltimore, and which I'm going to make a joke. So the potholes here are so big I could get lost in them, and they're everywhere. The infrastructure is horrendous here. It is so bad. Potholes everywhere, everywhere. So when the bridge collapsed, I was joking about this today. When the bridge collapsed, I said, that's a conspiracy theory, don't you? And the lady behind the counter is like, why? And I said, ain't nobody around here patching potholes. What are you talking about? She died laughing. She's like, that is so true. We agree with that. I'm like, where's all y'all's money going?
I really wish
Yeah.
that I lived close by there because I love that area so much, the Baltimore, DC area, and just everything that's in. I've so many things I would love to show you, but you make me laugh really hard with the potholes because literally, I mean, I could just hide my car in a pothole from the repo people if I wanted to. Just find me a pothole someone can park above me. It's no big deal.
double-decker parking.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Exactly.
no
Double
joke.
decker parking. It's ingenuity right here. Just thinking about the noggin.
Yes.
I might have a hole in my exhaust. Potholes are so bad around here.
But you
'Cause it
do
was
live
like
in
a-
a really great area, Christy. It's so awesome.
Sorry?
there.
I
I'm
love
seeing
it.
some great comments here, but I can't put them up because my computer started overheating and it really started screwing a whole bunch of things up when all of that was going on at once. So I apologize for not putting the comments up, but my computer is not doing well with all of that stuff. So
Well,
It's okay, Karen.
Wait, I'm sorry. Kim just said I'm an other people's problem solver. Yes, that's a true story. I am definitely other people's problem solvers. But with my problems, that's when I need other people. But I have a really, really bad problem with asking for help for myself.
That's more typical than
It's
not.
tough.
Oh, I know it is. It's
Yeah.
like that's why I
I'm
don't
just other
complain
people's
about that
problem.
work too much. Which one of us just doesn't suffer from the "I don't need your help" itis?
right.
Well, yeah,
Right.
we're so emotionally attached to our problems that we.
Yeah,
There's
well,
also I've got excellent advice, but I don't follow it myself.
oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me once. One of my very dear friends said, I'm going to give you back your advice. And it was really good advice. And I'm like, oh, I said that? And she's like, yes, you did. I'm like, look at me. And she's like, so now go do it. And I'm like, I didn't say I was going to do it. I just thought it was really good. She's like, I wrote it down. I'm like, oh, you even wrote it down. Oh, well, looky there. But now when it comes back to you that way, you're kind of like, oh my, okay. That was great.
The best one I've heard. The best one I've heard is there's times when a friend of mine who used to be a counselor of mine, I would excitedly tell her about something I've learned, and she's like, "How many times did I tell you that while I was your therapist?" And I'm like, I don't know.
I wasn't ready to learn. I'm sorry.
Sometimes you can hear it, but you have to go through it for it to sink in.
Yeah.
Or
You
go
gotta make
again.
things like I have people in my life where I can make an offhanded comment that I think doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah.
And three
Yeah.
people could just be like, oh yeah, yeah. And then it's that one person that's like, what? Wait, sit down. And you're like, no,
I do.
no, I'm not sitting down. No, I gotta go. I gotta go.
I gotta try that.
But
Life's
the
Good
thing
wants
is,
to know if that's a trauma response. Life's Good wants to know if that's a trauma response. Which thing specifically?
yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot. And
Yeah.
and while we're waiting for Life's Good to answer, I just wanted to tell Miss Sunrise Dawn again that I love you and I'm really sorry about Gizmo.
I'm so sorry about Gizmo.
Yeah.
We've all gotten to know each other's pets, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
And Kim, I think you're silly for thinking I'm a problem solver. Or maybe we should just meet up again and you can remind me of that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you're neurodivergent. So neurodivergence, typically we can solve other people's problems, just not our own.
We don't
All
recognize
day. All day.
We don't see for some reason, we don't seem to see the pattern in our own behavior, but we can spot it in others.
I so need to try that, Christy. When somebody starts to take something you said in humor as serious, is just leave on the high note, hang up, and just walk away. I need to do that.
Maybe that's how to deal with those work people, then.
Don't truly recommend it, because if they are your friend, they're gonna call you back and be like, no, we're having this. Sit down. And usually it's that one person that's like, oh no. That you that is generally right, that you really need to be listening to. They've got some insight. Okay, so she said, is it a trauma response that I don't need help? For me, it is a little bit, because I used to get told all the time that I didn't know how to do anything. So my response was, watch me do it. And I take it personally. Like, if let's say even Michael like tries to help me reach something off the top shelf, we all know I cannot reach it off the top shelf, but I will fight and I'll be like, I will scale the cabinet. I don't need you to do that. So it can also just be like, depending on how you grew up, like maybe you just really felt, small, and you don't have the self-confidence. I know. You should see me in the store, you guys.
I do the same thing. Middle of Walmart. It's the last one in the top shelf. I don't care. I'm not asking for help. I'm climbing the shelf to reach over to get it.
Share this story, and then I do need to hop off, but I will share this story. I will leave it on a high note. So I was in a Walmart, and you guys know I eat the weird stuff and drink the weird stuff. So it's called Nut Creamer, and it's got nothing in it. There's no sweetener, no dyes. Like, it's coconut and almond milk. It's really good for you. But they always put it on the very top shelf. And I am not above asking for help. Like, I don't care who you are. If you're taller than me, I'm asking you to help me. But I looked around and there was no one around. And so I was like, all right. So I proceeded to climb into the like little refrigerator section there. I was like scaling the shelving inside of that. And so I was hanging off of it with one hand, and I was plucking the stuff that I wanted off the top shelf and like chucking it over my shoulder into the cart, right? Like 3 or 4. And then, and it was in the summertime, so I had this really cute little short, like, romper thing, like, and I get down and I turn around, and there's a whole bunch of people y'all, I don't mean like 2 or 3. I mean like 15. And they're standing there, and I looked, and I was embarrassed. I was mortified. And then I got this. Good job. How long have y'all been standing there? And they're like, oh, long enough to know that took some talent. And I was like, why did you not offer to help? And they're like, well, we didn't want to interrupt you. Like, you had it under control. And I'm thinking, oh man. So anyway, I was, the only thing I could think to do was like curtsy and go on. I didn't know what else to do. And I thought I might, everybody, teasing about, like, I might be on People of Walmart. I don't know. That would be one thing that would have gotten me on there, because I was just like, hey, like chucking it over my shoulder, like 3 or 4 of them.
You have a turkey leg.
Yeah, it wasn't just like 1 or 2. And I was like, great. I've never gotten a standing ovation before, and I get it for hanging off of shelving in Walmart, throwing creamer over my shoulder. It's
That's our beautiful independent Christy right
Boston,
there.
I know it's not, but I am very, very allergic to dairy. So I try to do like coconut milk or something like that. I don't get to have ice cream or yogurt.
I bought sorbet.
Yeah, I can have sorbet.
I can't afford the 5 or 6 things that are healthy to eat out there, Some of us are on a budget. I'm talking to Mr. Boston, not you, Christy. I was reading, and I mean no disrespect at all, Mr. Boston, but
yeah,
I would definitely love to eat all 6 things that are healthy enough to eat in this world. But
all 6 things. I like how she puts that.
Also, I'm probably being generous, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to find healthy stuff. But you guys have a good night, and I'm gonna hop off here, and I will talk to you guys all later.
Good to see you, Christy. Much love.
Bye.
Good night, Christy.
Bye.
Good night.
So I finally started to eat a little, but I made something yesterday. Yeah, tiny little bits, but it's enough. But yeah, I made like a fresh pineapple, mango, and passion fruit thingy, because we're lucky. It's really cheap here. So the mango was like $2, and the pineapple was, I think, $3.50. So that's all right.
That's worth moving to Australia right there.
Right? Yeah, I think so.
I'm coming.
And then because I think it's great, because I love fruit. And then we've got I got lemon sorbet to have with it, because I can't have dairy either. And then passion fruit sorbet. So because I figure if you're struggling to eat or anything like that, if you pick something that you actually know you will have, then it's going to be more successful. And fruit's not too bad. It's got natural sugars and everything in there.
Right.
Although I did have to put the syrup on the pineapple, because when I was cutting it last time, I was eating it and I could feel it eating me.
Oh, yeah.
The acid, the acidic value of it.
Yeah. I think it's called bromelain or something, and it they're like little needles, and they eat you.
Mr. Boston, just to answer your question, I do take a vitamin D3, a very high dose of vitamin D3 supplement every day, along with zinc, and then at night I take magnesium. That's fairly new. That's about 6 months old. Since my doctor that just passed away, my lipidologist, suggested sour melon. I don't know what sour melon is, but it sounds sour, so I don't like it.
I like sour, but I don't like melon. So.
The body has 27 sour receptors and only 2 sweet receptors, while my body only listens to the sweet receptors.
I was gonna say that Mr. Boston, you just explained all of my problems in one sentence. And I have actually heard that the things that are good for you don't taste that great too, but I've proven that slightly untrue. Well, I'm just doing what my doctor said, which was D3, D4, D6. I don't know about that stuff. I have to read into it.
You sank my battleship. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks,
Oh.
Ben.
Hey Ben, B4.
I take D12.
Yeah, B12 too, because I've always been very low on B12 myself.
Oh no, D12. D12 is like the Eminem band.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was just listening to them yesterday.
I'm from Detroit. You think that I could have gotten that?
And
You
it's the
said
music
B12
industry. Come on now.
right over my head. I thought you said B12.
Yeah.
I have the
I had to
same.
take
I
it.
have the same Old English D that oh, it's crooked. Right. Okay. Never mind. I have the same. It's
Oh, that's
upside down.
cool.
Yeah, I've had that forever. You
Yeah,
take
I have to
D6.
take B12 shots and iron infusions sometimes. Although I'm trying really hard not to have the iron infusions because they're painful.
Ouch.
But yeah.
Biotin is
And
great
as
for hair. That's good. That's another one that's very good.
Yeah, and because I was a heavy drinker, they give you, I think, they give you thiamine. Not sure whichever B that is. That's super painful, and that's actually the biggest cost that goes into detox in Australia is the thiamine shots.
Thiamine?
Because they're really expensive, but
Yeah.
you need it for your brain. I actually take it still when I can. The tablets are giant and horrible, but it's better than having a needle. And if you've had lots of alcohol or any type of drug or whatever, they give it to you in detox because you need thiamine for your brain. That's what makes you a little bit, if you're a little bit floaty or whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. Afterwards, you can see people like my mum. Even when she's not drinking, she sounds drunk, and I'm begging her to take all these vitamins. Because I'm just thinking, she's only 16 years older than me, but she's still, I'm just trying to keep her okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
So,
I was going to say something and then I forgot because of tomorrow at 1. Thank you, because I wanted to ask you about that, Christy. So now I remember.
I'll find a link.
tomorrow at 1 Eastern.
I was going to say something, but I don't remember. I'm trying at current to make a thumbnail for Steve's service.
Then I'll help out and post it into the boat, guys, so that we have a clickable link, and I'll post it in Needing a Meeting, just so that Jen doesn't have to social too much. And that way, it's the little bit that I can do to help, and reach out if you need anything more, okay?
No, you got to get, thank you, Stasia. You got to get raw honey. Raw honey is and it has to be, it can't be, help me out, Mr. Boston. Clover. It shouldn't be clover honey.
Huh. Okay.
Raw honey.
There's a difference? I knew that there was flower honey and bee honey, but what's the difference with clover honey?
So the clover honey, I don't want to say things that I'm not 100% sure on, but I do. Oh, well, I will the next time I'm at a Greek
It's just
monastery.
different. Okay.
Yeah. There's also in a lot of places, if it's not 100% honey, you're actually getting that sugar syrup or something in it. It's not actual
high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, you're getting that in it instead of actual honey. So if you get 100% honey, and even 100% honey is not guaranteed because they did test it, because honey's a big thing over here, and I'm sure it's everywhere. But they're finding that the stuff that's coming in from other countries is mixed with stuff
like
that is actually mixed. Yeah, it's like a combination of stuff. It's not real honey, So if you don't get it, doesn't say 100%.
Manuka honey is the healthiest honey. Raw honey is honey that has not been pasteurized. So that's the stuff that'll go like dark or hard, and it's heated to kill any bacteria that might be present in the honey. Clover honey is derived from bees that collect nectar from the flowers of clover plants. Clover honey may not be raw or pasteurized. One is not dependent on the other. But the Manuka, Manuka, has both antiviral and antibacterial properties. So
that's because
Manuka honey.
Manuka, yeah, it comes from New Zealand originally. There's a bit
Because
of an
New
argument
Zealand is
between
an
Australia and New
awesome
Zealand.
place that makes awesome people.
Yes, I agree. It comes from the tea tree. The tea tree. That's what the Manuka is. And the flower. And actually, I really want to go to this tea tree lake because you swim in it. It's got antibacterial and the other one properties because that's what tea tree does, and that's why the Manuka honey is so healthy. They've actually got super Manuka honey at the moment. Like it's like
super Manuka.
5,000 something, whatever is supposed to be the active Manuka bit.
Okay.
But it's really expensive. Yeah. You have it by the teaspoonful just for the health benefits. But I actually put Manuka honey on my cesarean scar, my second one, because I had it zipped. They zipped it. And I unzipped it and put the Manuka honey on and zipped it back up. And I don't have a scar now. It doesn't look like I've had a cesarean virtually. Yeah. It's really good for healing.
I love
I get my honey straight from a honey farmer in the area, so it's completely raw.
I actually don't like honey, so I'm at my besties and I'm coughing because I've still got this cough thingy going on. She wakes me up in the middle of the night and gives me a spoonful of honey. I'm like, oh, this is worse.
I find that taking a spoonful of honey helps me get rid of hiccups too, because I get hiccups a lot because of my digestive problems.
I have vinegar. I have apple cider. I'll just sweet
apple cider vinegar is another really good. Yeah.
It also just takes away the hiccup. Like it's like it shocks your system. It's hilarious watching people do it though, because I just drink. I drink vinegar for fun.
Peanut butter is my go-to. Peanut butter is my go-to hiccup thing, like fixer. I did just remember that I'm on my 5th month of not smoking cigarettes.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Congratulations!
And this is the last month of these. And then I'm going to lozenges and then I'm done.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yay!
Proud.
Mama Ciara.
That'll be amazing.
I'll tell you, it's been so hard. It has been very difficult actually to do, but I'm super proud of myself.
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Okay, but Mr. Boston, can't I just make the holy water holy by doing the holy cross over it?
Oh yeah.
I bless water all the time.
In a pinch, right? You can make water holy by doing the cross. I'm not being disrespectful, actually. I shouldn't make jokes if it's somebody who doesn't necessarily know my humor. I'm sorry. Yay! You're on 3 weeks cold turkey. Well, then I definitely applaud you because I could.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me, honey. Me and Mr. Boston quit.
I tapered down the week of Lent and had a funeral service for my last pack of cigarettes and had it
it's really smart
right there
actually.
in the pump so somebody could find the pack of cigarettes, because
Honestly, Mr. Boston, I can't tell the mood swings between my my no cigarette mood swings and my perimenopause mood swings. I couldn't tell you which ones are worse.
Hey, you want to see mood swings? I can
right now.
swings.
I think I've had at least 3 mood swings since I've been on this live. So yeah, it is me, honey. Thank you.
I am going to try and go to the beach this weekend. It is raining and stuff, but I'll take some videos.
Every time you say that in front of me, and if you don't go, then that's an insult to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
As your friend who so desperately needs beach time.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to keep me accountable. I'll actually go now.
You have to go.
Take some
put your
videos.
feet in the water for me. Because now I can't even go. I can't even go down to Mary's to go to the eclipse on Monday. So, I mean, I'll still get like a 99% totality here, but it's not going to be as fun as when I
No.
I've never kicked heroin or fentanyl, but I've heard that cigarettes are pretty much on par with that.
Yeah. Well, you
yeah,
guys,
think
what do you
that
think?
I know I've had a meeting.
Yeah.
I've had a couple.
Sorry.
Carol,
that's
I've
too
really
late,
enjoyed
okay.
watching you like this.
Oh, it's stuck like
Oh, hang
that.
on.
It's stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, you've been like that the whole time. It's so awesome. You look like you're really paying attention.
So tonight's going to be my last meeting. We have Monday for the eclipse, and I wanted to ask, I can go somewhere where I can stream the eclipse for you guys, because it'll be during meeting time, but I'll only go if it's something that you guys want.
I
Well,
can't
I
see it
thought-
because I'm on the other side of the world. So yes,
Oh, and my husband's best friend from high school invited us to the town where he lives to go see it because he's right in the path of the totality.
Yeah.
And so I might do, we might be doing that. But it's my understanding that the eclipse is at noon Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at noon Central. Okay.
It's at noon Central.
For me, it's going to start at 2 something, and the full totality, because I'm in the path of totality, it's going to be at 5 something. I'll have to double check.
Okay, the way the sun's
How
okay.
are you in the
okay, the way
How are you in the path of totality?
Yeah, I'm in the path of totality.
I'm like literally, you guys, this far out of the path of totality this time.
So
Maybe I
yeah,
should just
Monday
drive
we
up
might
to
be
you.
on the road.
So just send me a message. Okay. So if we don't do one, then I'm going to go and enjoy. But if we do a meeting, just let me know, because I'll get away from the house so that I can stream it.
Okay. Right on.
But I'm going to let you guys know my phone is starting to overheat. So I'm going to leave the meeting now because it's already overheated on me and kicked me out tonight.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, go honey.
Yeah. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too.
And
Love you,
I don't
babe.
know if I'll be on tomorrow. Maybe just the beginning part.
Okay.
All right.
Take a break, babe.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Last-
get on this thing and see what I can do with it. I love all you guys. Thanks for
Love
listening
you
to
too,
me.
Jen. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will check. I'll check in before. I'll check in somewhere before, maybe in our chat tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Love you, Jen.
All right, love
Love
you
you.
guys. Thanks.
Take care, Jen.
Love you.
Bye, Benny. Big paws.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say,
Um,
look, I cleaned my desk. It's not like
Wow.
that big mess part it's always been. And I got my crispy biscuits. That's my nickname, Crispy. Well, I don't let anyone call me Crispy, but it used to be. And then Kiwi biscuits. And I'm like, Kiwi biscuits. Might not open them for a while, but I like having them there. So, but
Right
yeah, it's
on.
lovely to see you guys. I love you. It's lovely to
Love
hear
you
your voice,
too.
Carol.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you next time. Bye.
See you next time.
Okay. Good to see you.
I gotta tell you, Carol, this is so tempting to try mirroring, but oh wow.
So I got to freeze that way. That's fantastic.
It could have been. It actually very easily could have been a lot worse. It's not a bad pose to get caught in. So, yeah, I was going to congratulate you on your muscle control, but yeah, now I'm starting to know that that's not the case. So.
Well, I've got a metal grate under here, which I had to take it out while I was trying to get my computer to unheat. It's still pretty hot. But since metal conducts heat so well, I'm thinking about just getting some little wood things, just wood flats to stick under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope you have a great evening and
You too, Ben.
all that kind of thing. I hope I hope you're able to get a quick and easy solution from your
Yeah, that'd be
doctor.
nice.
It
Yeah, yeah,
it would be a nice change of pace because I know things.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just like everything has to be the most difficult all the time. It seems, but
yeah.
yeah. Well, you
Well,
take
I hope
care of
you
yourself.
get yours straightened out as well, Ben.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get there.
Right on.
I'll get there. You take care. Have a great day.
You too. You too, Ben.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, you guys, we made it through. I made it through. Ooh, and yeah. So tomorrow, maybe I'll have some good news after I go and get back from my doctor, and I'll be sure to share with you. And hope to see you again. See you tomorrow. And until then, peace, y'all.